Today I'm going to share with you my personal journey through fibromyalgia and my recovery. The reason I'd like to share this story with everybody is I'm doing a disservice to people if I don't. There's many people out there who suffer from fibromyalgia, and I've actually managed to recover, and it's considered an incurable illness. I was diagnosed at the age of 22 and I'm now 36. And at the time I was living in England, in UK, my first symptoms happened to be just a neck strain, so I thought it was due to my computer work. The neck strain didn't go away. It created migraines and very, very intense headaches. This then developed to widespread body pain. I couldn't get up. I would literally come home from work at the end of the day and just lie on the sofa in agony for the whole evening. That's how it started for me. And then afterwards, things seemed to progress. So I ended up having 6 months of insomnia where I literally didn't sleep for 6 months, maybe just with an hour sleep at night. And it was really getting a massive problem and disturbing my whole lifestyle. I even found I'd go out with my friends in the evening. Maybe I'd take one sip of just a drink, one sip of beer, and I would just vomit straight away. So I went to the doctors and I thought, okay, let's see, what tests can I get? I got blood tests, I had MRI scans, I had X-rays. They couldn't find anything wrong with me. After another year or two, I was referred to a rheumatologist. And this is when they diagnosed me with fibromyalgia, which is a chronic illness. Now, doctors say that it's incurable. And for somebody to hear that they have an incurable illness and that's going to be the rest of your life and you're not going to be able to do everything you dreamed of, it's indescribable how you can feel that your life has just been taken away from you. A whole part of your vision and your dreams have just disappeared completely within the space of 5 minutes. I didn't want to believe I had this. I would then research about the condition, see how I could get well, to the point where I was just gaining more and more knowledge about the subject. It was actually making me very depressed at the time because I couldn't do simple things. I couldn't open a bottle of water myself. I had severe muscle weakness, so I couldn't do the simplest of things. I wouldn't be able to put my shoes on. When I climbed out of bed, then I wouldn't be able to make myself breakfast. So I went from a completely independent person to being this person that had to depend on somebody the whole day, every single day. So when I moved to South Africa 2 years later, I found the warmth even helped me, the sun helped me, living outdoors helped me. And I went to see another rheumatologist because I didn't want to believe I had fibromyalgia. And I remember getting the diagnosis for the second time, and they said, yes, it's confirmed, you do have fibromyalgia. And I remember coming home from the rheumatologist that day and stopping off at the river with my husband, and I was just sat there on the rock and I just poured my eyes out. I was crying because I couldn't do what I wanted. Now what I do is I work at a monkey sanctuary, and I wanted to do as much as I could to help the monkeys who were orphaned or abused. So to say that you'll end up this is going to get worse, your condition's going to get worse, you'll end up in a wheelchair, you'll probably not be able to walk at a very young age in your life, just devastated me, absolutely devastating, took away everything I ever had. I developed, I found that I was very nervous speaking to people. I went through a serious depression phase because of this and because being told this, but also the immense pain that I was in. I couldn't get out of bed every day. And I just couldn't do what I needed to and wanted to do in life. So I was very, very determined to get well. I didn't want to believe that there was no cure for this condition. So that's how it started. And throughout that, I also discovered, after doing my research, that there's links with things such as mercury poisoning. So I took every single step I could during the last 10 years to get well. And I had amalgam fillings, which is silver fillings, and I decided, okay, what can I do to get rid of these symptoms as well? The anxiety, the nervous symptoms, affect your whole nervous system. So I did some research. I found the a guy called Andrew Cutler and followed his protocol regarding amalgam fillings. Now, the mistake I made is I didn't do enough research, and I actually had my amalgam fillings taken out of my mouth, and it was done incorrectly. Now, not every dentist knows how to remove amalgam fillings in a correct, safe manner, and unfortunately I went to a dentist who didn't know what to do. He did remove the fillings, and the next day I can't even explain the paranoia I felt, the nervousness of the world was just ridiculous. It was really a case of I couldn't do anything, I didn't want to see any people, I just wanted to literally go away and hibernate, and this was the day after I had my fillings removed, so I couldn't understand why. So after I'd done more research, I realised that I hadn't had them removed the correct method, and I went through a process basically of then seeing another mercury-free dentist who would then actually remove one by one the fillings, and I went through IV sedation and intravenous vitamin C to actually get it done in the correct manner. Now, my health did start slowly improving after this. I went on various detox courses. I was prescribed tramadol painkillers. Then after the mercury poisoning, I also was diagnosed with adrenal stage 5 fatigue. I had leaky gut syndrome. So there were many other symptoms other than just what you think of the fatigue and the muscle aches and pains. So after having the mercury poisoning, I went through the chelation and having the fillings removed correctly, and the detoxing. All of this led to me having a slightly less pain, although I still had to take painkillers twice a day for over a period of 6 or 7 years. I did some reading about adrenal fatigue because I simply couldn't carry on the way I was. I was in bed for, I suppose, most of 1 year. I was actually in bed. I would have the curtains drawn. I didn't want to see anybody. It literally was I was depending on my husband to, even bring me food because I was so painful all day long. I would sit at my laptop so that I could do work for the monkeys, and I would just do as much as I could, literally from my bed. So that was really disheartening for me. And then things started to change, and when they actually changed was in the last 4 years. 4 years ago, after having fibromyalgia for 10 years, I'd clearly gained as much knowledge as I could. I understood how my body worked, and I'd tried various different diets. I'd been to osteopaths, physiotherapists, I'd done different exercises, I'd seen lots of different specialists. So I'd been there, I'd done that, got the t-shirt. And what I found was that I asked my doctor if I could try some low-dose cortisol, because the anxiety was to such a degree, my body wasn't handling any form of stress at all. I was fatigued as if I'd run a marathon every day. I'd wake up, I'd feel hungover when I hadn't had anything to drink the day before, and I just simply couldn't live like this. So I did some reading around cortisol and decided, okay, let's just try and stabilise my adrenals and support them. So I went on to low-dose cortisol, which did help me greatly, along with the painkillers. It helped me just to be able to tolerate the pain and the anxiety and the body not being able to cope and going into this flight or fight response. So 4 years ago, after being on the tramadol and the cortisol long term, trying to get off it after many occasions, I simply just couldn't get off the drugs. I'd have so many withdrawals, but I'd suffer really immense pain. It was excruciating. I'd have to, stand there and literally hold my head still because it was shaking. I'd also have nerve pain, sciatica, I think many other symptoms of chronic illness. So I actually watched a documentary. I'd kind of stopped searching at this point on fibromyalgia. Something come up for sure, I'd absolutely try it. I wanted to get well. And what happened was I focused on what I could do to help the animals, as it's always been my passion. And I watched a documentary one evening with my husband. It was actually Gary Yourofsky, best speech you'll ever hear. And after watching that documentary, myself and my husband decided that we would go vegan, which is 100% plant-based diet, because of the cruelty aspect involved for the animals. So the next morning we woke up and we had our breakfast. We had no cheese, we had no milk, we had no eggs, nothing for the whole day, and we continued that lifestyle, which was very, very easy for us to do. And over a period of about 6 months after going on to the plant-based diet, then I slowly felt my pain was decreasing. I'd looked into acid alkaline diets before, so I'd tried different things, but I hadn't gone the 100%. So my health started slowly improving, and come January the next year, after about 6 months, I noticed such a big improvement that I would be walking along and I'd be like, well, where's my headaches? I'd travel in the car, I had no migraines. I'd be able to open a bottle of water. I'd be able to prepare myself something to eat. I'd even be able to feel okay in a car. Now, I used to even go down the dirt track, the bumpy dirt track, and I'd choose not to go out anywhere because the track was so bumpy and painful for me. So after noticing all this, I thought, hang on a minute, let's just try. Let's try reducing my painkillers again. So I cut down very, very, very slowly off my tramadol, and I'm talking literally, a couple of grains of powder a day over the course, I think, of about 2 to 3 weeks. And after those 2 to 3 weeks, I felt no different off my painkillers, whereas usually I would feel extreme pain. So I realised, hang on, something's changed here, something's definitely changed. I also was able to come off my cortisol. And I got to a point where my health was improving exponentially. I can't really explain to a degree what I felt. There was something changing in my life where I was actually getting my life back. And this was a huge dream for me. This is a dream come true. When the whole time I was sick was just a vision of, that's the way I'm going to be. I had this vision of, okay, that's my life, that's how I'm going to be, even though what I wanted was so much more. Now, what I'm able to do is I'm able to drive a car again. I'm actually even able to walk, I'm going on a 15-kilometre walk hiking trail in a couple of weeks' time. I even started to jog, so I managed to be able to jog a few kilometres, gradually building up to it. I could do exercises again. I would have energy again. I could actually go out and socialise again. What I did realise is something after recovery is that I was actually reinventing myself. I had to relearn all of these things that I'd, since being 22 to the age of 32, I felt like I'd missed this big gap. But in actual fact, I'd learned so many lessons along the way. I'd had so many insights to life along the way. I learned not to judge people. Fibromyalgia and many other chronic illnesses they're invisible. You don't see them. People look at you and, I'll get a lift somewhere just literally down the road and people would say, well, that's lazy. Of course they don't mean it, they're joking. But to me, it would hurt. It would hurt bad. People can't understand. And unless you've been there yourself, you don't understand. And it really taught me not to judge people and really to be there for people and to have this connection with them. Because when you have an invisible illness, you're lonely inside. You'll lose your friends along the way. You're having to say no to people. People invite you out and you're having to say, you say yes because you think, okay, I'm going to feel okay. You just come to the day and you absolutely can't even move out of bed. So I want to share this story because I want to inspire others to get well. I want them to know there are ways that you can get well. There are things you can do. It's not easy, it's not simple. You have to find what works for you. And I aligned my values. I went on a 100% plant-based vegan diet, which is a massive detox diet. Now what I do is I also do juicing. I went on a 28-day juicing diet just with juice. The guy's name was Jason Vale, but now I think I will do that once a year because it actually cleanses your whole system. And if you do something and if you eat right and you put the right foods into your body, then you can get better. You're repairing all the time. You need to think of your body as repairing and healing. So repairing those cells, giving you that energy, can make your dreams come true. And now I have this amazing vision, and I'm hoping to create a release site for the monkeys, and it's been my dream. It's been my dream since I ever arrived here in South Africa, and now I can feel I'm making that happen. And I just can't tell you how exciting life is for me now. It's really, really exciting. I'm loving every minute of it, and I never ever in a million years would have thought that I would get to this point. And I really hope this video helps some people, because if you actually get back your life's purpose, you continue that dream, you continue to have that vision, then there's nothing stopping you. There's really nothing stopping you. And you need to believe in yourself. No matter what you read, no matter what people tell you, you can do it and you can get there. And it's really important for you to believe that and know it. Be determined. Do your research, find the knowledge, do what works for you, and know that you can get well. You can get well, and I believe that. I strongly believe that. Live your dreams, make it happen, and you'll get there and have an amazing, amazing life. Do whatever you can and whatever it takes, because you can do it and you can get there. Thank you for listening.